But can I talk to you? I know you did me wrong. Hit a song, can we talk?
See, poverty ain't a situation, it's a system. And it's not a broke system. It's a multi-billion-dollar system, soon to be a multi-trillion-dollar system. And it still have nots in it because that's the have not narrative that's put on it. But the hood is not broke. And especially in New Orleans, my ethnicity, we show you that the hood is not broke. You can go in a trailer park and it might look broke down over there, but going into the projects, you're gonna see Mercedes, Benzes, you know what I'm saying? All kind of luxury cars, Cadillacs. You're gonna see people walking out in $1,000 outfits. Everything. But this is poverty. So that lets you know that even though it's poverty, there was an ecosystem that business was being taken care of, that people were able to be influential and flourish. Those were my OGs. Those were the people that they call gangsters. And I know I'm 13, and I gotta go on this side and just tell this story. One of my mentors, Albert Victor, my sister's dad. One time I was about 9, 10 years old, and we in New Orleans, we in the 7th Ward, and I used to run with my little partners or whatever. But the thing about it is, we wanted to be roguish. You know what I'm saying? We was what they call the gang. We wanted to be little gangsters, you know. So one day he see me rolling with him, and he know that all the havoc because he's the OG. He's the OG. You know what I'm saying? In the neighborhood, and he called me over. He said, "Come on in." He said, "I see you." You know what I'm saying? I said, we as a kid, he's like, "What you want to be a gangster, son?" I'm like, "You ain't no gangster, son." He said, "Do you know that there's two terms of that word, right?" He said, "There's a gangstar and there's a gangster. Which one do you want to be, or even do you know the difference between either? Let me tell you about it." He said, "Do you know what a gang is?" I said, "Well, gang is." He said, "Gang is nothing but a community of people that come together by bylaws, and they obey by these bylaws, and they structure and order, and they raise their kids in one accord. It's a community. That's a gang." But guess what? When it comes down to detail, everybody can't speak at one time. So what the gang does is they elect or they choose a star to represent them. And that's a gang star. I'm a gang star, son. He said, "But what you're trying to be is a gangster." He said, "And I ain't talking about the way you spell it. I'm talking about STIR. Yeah, I see it's a little gang of y'all. Your little community gonna grow. There's a bunch of you little neglets around here." Right? But the thing about it is, yeah, y'all gang, but all y'all gonna do is stir up shit. So do you want to be a gangster or you want to be a gangster? Changed my life. Even though I still had to go run with my friends and my partners, after that was brought back to my remembrance, I wasn't the same. I wasn't the same. It made me start looking at the people I was surrounded by differently. I'm a kid, but I'm an educated kid. I ain't talking about through the books, I'm talking about life education. These what the OGs did. These what the gangsters did. They were the ones that ran the community. Those are the ones that had the corner stores, the cleaners. You know what I'm saying? The car washes, the restaurants. These was the OG. Because then when you look at it back in those days in New Orleans, at a certain day, that's where all the real popular ones used to go. When you know who they was, which is my grandfather, my family was into that clique also. You know, but this is how it was. But then something came along I had to go through called the crack epidemic. And it just happened to fall on when my generation was going into young adulthood. You know what happened when you go into young adulthood? They start looking at you to make the decisions. The crack epidemic, like I said, it affected, I say, 1% of us, and we made it through. But there was other things that flourished from the crack epidemic because it was set up for economics. It wasn't an emotional thing. We make lemon out of lemonade all the time. Tell us how to play the game and we will dominate it. It doesn't matter. At those times, especially dealing in the realm of poverty, this was a form of the ecosystem. And we all know this. I'm not saying anything. That's why they made Snowfall. Well, you talk to Ricky Ross, it's the same stuff. This was a government funded program. The crack epidemic was a government-funded program. And they understood, and guess what government-funded programs are do? They're to produce ROI. It's a business. It ain't emotional. It's a business. And guess what? If you go, how can we do this? And we're always the first and the last that they go to. You need money, you know what I'm saying? We'll build something or create something. You need money, we'll make it hot. We'll sell something for you. It's black marketing, and that's business. We talk about all these things later. You know what I'm saying? If you like to, you know what I'm saying? So, in saying that, we were at.
No. Basically, so you're a young kid. Your father-in-law, your stepfather told you
Gotcha.
to be a
Gangster. Right.
gangster, and that changed your life.
Right. Right. That part. So thank you for pulling me back too, brother. I know we got it this shit out. So at that point, it started making me look at things different because now I'm looking at my OGs. You know what I'm saying? They're all the type of men that I want to grow up to be or be better than. But also, I'm coming up peer pressure. You know, but it didn't overcome it. So enjoying it, I say that because this is when my plight really started moving. Um, I was in New Orleans high school and selling crack. And one day I was on this set at the time where nobody was at because I was that type of person. I was taught that whatever you do with somebody else, especially if it's a crime, you're caught. That was the code I came. You know what I'm saying? So whenever, if you're gonna take a partner, if you got to do something, you got to take a partner. You know what I'm saying? Just consider yourself caught. Prepare from there. You know, so my partner's on that corner, on that corner. Nobody knows. I go where I go at. One day, I'm there for a couple of weeks. Hustling, bam, bam, boom. A cat from off the Russia Blades came around there. Like, all right, cool. They on that side, I'm on this side. Everything's still cool. People come on this side, they cool. I ain't got to run. People on that side, they cool. It's cool. Ain't nobody beefing. So it got to the point where other people started coming on the corners. I'm like, okay. So one day, there was a bunch of us on the corner, and I found myself running to a car like these guys. And in my way running to the car, I said, Spirit said, and I'm going to say that Spirit said, what the fuck are you doing? I backed up. I said, you know what? Boom. I said, look on all four of those corners. I said, look on that corner. Do they have the intellectual capacity of you? No. Look on that corner. Do they have the intellectual capacity of you? No. Look on the corner of you. Do you have the intellectual capacity of you? Not if you sitting here. Boom. I stopped selling crack. But what I understood is there still was an ecosystem because they was hustling out here for something. They wasn't just hustling out here making money, put it in their pocket. They were making money so they could spend it. But the thing about hood guys, you know where you go at, you don't know out going outside the hood. Most of the cats haven't been 5 blocks from their freaking house. But you got all this money, you watching TV and part of this. You want the stuff you see because you want to be the baller. That's was my mission. How to start providing products through the ecosystem of the crack epidemic. What do crack dealers like? Clothes, jewelry, cars. And guess what? I could build it to where, guess what? You ain't got to run to them. They gonna go make the money and bring it to you. It just is. It's business. It's business. So that's how I know in doing what I'm doing for the Black Agenda as we tap into the realm of poverty, the 98% that don't get a chance to get looked at because people don't know how and when they move. I do because I come from it. I know that there's a bunch of them down there. Elon Musk even said, and I think he said it in code, he said the future CEOs are going to be entrepreneurs, not people that come out of Harvard. And he was saying that lightly. He really meant to say hustlers. Where all the hustlers at? They out there producing funding for themselves because ain't nobody else funding their business. All this is from the crack epidemic. Hip hop, a product, and got exploited through the crack epidemic. There was many things, movies, Black Tyler Perry. Let's just be down. These were all benefits of the economy of the crack epidemic. Because if you didn't have that dope money that was moving around, nobody was going to finance any of the people that we see. That's why they call them nobodies, right? How do you find this? How did you find out? Like I said in New Orleans, they're on every corner. You don't know because you don't go. So, in saying that, with that, that's what got me into the business mindset. I need to start recognizing corporate. So, what I thought I had to do is go to college. And at 89, actually, that summer, all that stuff that happens, a bunch of stuff that happened that summer also. But it's when I took my first trip outside of New Orleans to Southern University campus in Baton Rouge. My first time ever leaving the city like that without my mom. You know, so your mom, she took you to Disney World and all that other stuff. But as an adult, that was my first trip. Another monumental, life-changing moment. Came back home and recognized I need to go to school. But I went to school because I wanted for business. I seen Jungle Fever. You know what I'm saying? Wesley Snipes. Walking across, you know what I'm saying? Cleaning, going to a corporate job. Because before, last time I seen, remember he was Nino Brown. Now Nino Brown and turned into, this is my mindset. It's my movie. This is my movie. I'm watching them. I'm like, oh, so we can do it that way. I need to get into corporate. I need to get into business. Went to college. Wound up going to college. Business administration. But the people that's teaching me, they don't have none of the accolades that you're teaching me that I can go get. You're telling me you're a business instructor, but you don't own a business. Knocked me off my skull, but I kept going. My partner introduced me to the car business from there. Car business is where I got revolutionized. Went into this Bible class that I stayed in for 20 years that taught me how to travel and network. And from there, that's when I started traveling. I left New Orleans the first time in 2002, Montgomery, Alabama. That was my first flight, my first stay outside of New Orleans. There is where I instituted the Perfect Choice Credit Broker because I was in the car business. I stayed in the car business in and out 25 years. I had the Perfect Choice Car Brokers, which are auto brokers. At the time, it was an independent auto broker.
Wow.
Yeah, and what we'll do is I go with this partner with this company called Level 10, and we would go all across the United States. I call it the L, which was our circuit. And what we would do is we would go to different dealerships that were struggling, take over for a week, get their numbers up, then bounce. So, okay, yeah. So in saying that, it taught me how to do, it's called interstate business. Now I'm not just doing business in my city, in my realm. I'm national now. And all these things are eliminating fear. But also remember, I know what my journey is. That my journey is love. This is what helped me jump off the porch. The pursuit of love. The remembrance of love. Because love is the end. Love is the future. So it said, so I went to that taught me how to start doing business across the United States and also networking in a manner to where it's effective in different regions, which makes you more vast. I know how these people do business. I know how these people do business. I know how these people do business. Because remember, I'm already in my mind. I'm blessed to be a researcher of my ethnicity. I'm going, why are you going to, why you be able to go in all these different hoods? Because I'm studying too. But I'm studying because I'm trying to figure out, also finding myself, why am I pretty much the only one that's thinking like that? Well, we can do this. When I'm watching all y'all do it all the time. But one thing about the hood, you do not escape the hood. The hood allows you to leave. That's why the giants stay there. That's why those OGs take you under. They're the giants whose shoulders you step on and let you know now there's somewhere else. And everybody can't come because they don't take everybody. They always take that. Most of the time it's sports stars. Somebody that they know can get out. So they have to stand on their shoulders so they can see, hey man, start getting prepared.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So so I'm doing these things. So as I'm going across the United States and I'm going to do business, I'm also staying connected to the impoverished areas, the areas where I know that we are. What the rappers say, staying in the streets. And I don't even know how we took that we got the power to take everything. Because even when we say, man, I'm in these streets, we in these streets. Guess what? Martin Luther King Boulevard ain't the only street yet. They got Rodeo Drive as a street.
Wow.
Ocean Boulevard is a street. Michigan Boulevard is a street. And guess what? In order to get the information, you got to stay in the street. No matter what street you're on, be in the streets. But just so happens, I like to be in the streets where we're at first. Because it's the other streets that got me able to frequent these places.
So how did you get to now? I heard now I know you smoke cigars.
Yeah.
The cigar.
Oh, you want to know that story. Got
I'm just trying to figure out how did you get here?
I moved to California in 2011. 2011, I stayed there, same thing, get in the streets, learn how the people move, and I wound up taking a gig because for some reason you always take I always take the things that get me connected in the streets and stay safe, you know. So I took this job, a door-to-door sales with cable, with Charter, I think it was, Charter Spectrum. It was one of the names at the time. But the thing about it, yeah, I know that California is a gang culture. I don't know anything about California. But if I'm protected by corporations, you know what I'm saying, and I can go anywhere I go because I'm protected by their crew. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it, you have to move in a certain way. So in saying that, in 2015, I met a man called Luis Ruiz, still my good friend, great friend to this day, and he introduced me to the cigar business, cigar culture. And one of the statements that he told me is, brother, he said, once I teach you this, he said, just being a part of this culture is going to get you in rooms that you shouldn't be in and sit you at tables that you shouldn't be sitting at. Took it 3 years under his tutelage. Didn't know I was being tutored, but it was 3 years under they were teaching me the culture of cigars, which was also cross referencing with African American history. Yeah, he's Cuban, but guess what? Deep in the history. So, in saying that, I got into the cigar culture. And I knew being in the cigar culture and the way that they taught me that cigar lounges weren't just cigar lounges the way that people were, our people was looking at it. Cigar lounges are really think tanks and banks. That's really what the cigar lounge is set up for. It's set up for the elite, for the power brokers, or even for community heads. You know what I'm saying? To come together, we enjoy a hobby, and we think, and if we need money, we construct. That's what these places are for. That's why you have some folks that's paying $25,000 a month to be a member of a cigar lounge. Because if it's really a think tank and a bank and you run it that way, whatever your membership is, the member should make 10x or whatever they pay. If it's a think tank and a bank. But if it's just a party place, all it is a bill. So I got the culture, I got the cigars. Why cigars is important? Because most of the time the people that do spend money or people that have money are coming to some type of celebration to where they should be celebrated. They always have two things and both hands are filled. One hand is going to be a cigar, other hand is going to be a drink. This is what that realm say, this is what success look like. And if it looks like that, it need to have success talk behind it because people look before they listen, right? So I partnered up with some gentlemen, and we opened up not open, but I partnered up with them in the cigar lounge, and we had that type of camaraderie. I built that to where it was becoming a think tank and a bank. At that point in time, I spent 10, 11 years in California, and while I was there in a cigar lounge, LA lounge, I started learning the rules to the game. And that's when politics came in. And I recognized that guess what? Nah, politics, ain't just play. This is the real business. But me being a thoughtful person, I said, you know what? I need to learn the rules of that game. Just so happened the people that I had coming to the lounge were elite, astound people that were plugged in, you know what I'm saying, plugged into the neighborhood, plugged into high places. And since they were going according along with the agenda that I was putting down at the lounge, they knew if I wanted something, if I wanted to go in that realm, they would try to make it happen. So when they found out that I wanted to get into politics, boom, got into the sector, they opened up the politics. COVID hits. Around this time, we're supposed to have there's an election year. It's an election year this year also. So we were supposed to do a couple of fundraisers at the cigar lounge. COVID hits. Nobody is doing anything public. Everything is virtual. But it was two people because of the pool that we had coming through the lounge that got two major politicians that were on a ticket. Maxine Waters was one. The other one was Herb Wesson. So we went through Herb, you know what I'm saying? Herb was my first introduction to having a political event and sitting down talking to a politician about politics. So I'm a rookie, but I'm the rookie of the year. So Herb, man, I got to, because it's so vital to Vegas. Dr. Calloway, Tony Calloway. So you need to know the Regency West. You remember Regency West in California? Dr. Tony Calloway. Another one of my mentors, life-changing conversation. He sees that I'm going into this area. He pulls me on the side. He said, Dino, he said, yeah, I see, you know what I'm saying, that you're into politics, you want to go into politics, and you're thinking about fundraising and raising people money. He said, I'm telling you this, it's not about the money. It's about the people. Community before the money. I didn't understand what he said, but it stuck. So now the next day it's Herb Wesson, you know what I'm saying? And furthermore, he was telling me about favor for favors, you know what I'm saying? Just telling him, running a political game. Man, just so big, man. Herb walks in the thing. People look before they listen. Never met Herb Wesson before. Herb walks in the door and we fly it up. You know what I'm saying? I got everybody fly. We all fly it up. Herb look, who that is back there? I said, oh, that's Dino. I don't know who he is, but that's my man. So we hit it, boom, right off the bat. We go to the back, we vibing, and then the thing come back. Ask the question. You know what I'm saying? Which I was talking, what's the political? Let me test it out. Herb, you know what I'm saying? Boom, boom, we're here to do anything you see, how we can help you win, boom. This is the question. What do we, I'm gonna get how I did what you call them. What do we need to do for you so I can tell you what you can do for us? See, I wish you would have been asked that question. This the game. This is the game. He's here because I have community. He needs community to vote. I got that much of it. My mind blown, but I'm like, okay, I get it. Yeah, good. Yes, I said, this is how it goes. You know what I'm saying? But you got to have something that can actually be executed. There ain't no foo-foo stuff. It got to be something. We're talking about the government. They need the communities to run faster and smoother. You have to bring something that's going to help the business ROI. Not just, oh, give him that money. Get it. That's why they call misappropriated funds. You're running a business, not a party. So in saying that, this is the next one. Saturday.
So politics is the business, not about parties.
Not parties. It's about the business. The mayor of every councilman, these are all business people. When you go with your mayor is the business manager of the city. The governor is the business manager of the state. The councilmen and all these other, they're all supervisors to make sure that the boss objective or agenda gets done. Because the boss is paying them to make sure that everything is operating. It's business. It's not personal. It's all business.
So you're talking to this gentleman, you run that play, you see?
Yeah. Maxine comes in, same thing. Now this is the key thing about it. It's COVID year. Nobody is doing anything publicly. Because of the connection that we had, us and one other spot was the only two places that Maxine Waters came in. So the plan was, like I say, make sure everybody was doing it up. The lounge was already fly. She walks in, she see all these black men dressed to the T. The place is fabulous. She's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna talk to y'all. So we went to the back. She jib jabbing. We found out what's going on. Zoop, 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 zoop. We got to the point where she vetted enough. She said, you know what? Forget this. Get everybody up front. I want to talk to y'all. So yeah, that she pretty much start running down. And this is what she said. She said, y'all know my position in the government. She said, I see these white guys come up here all the time, walk away with millions of dollars like it's nothing. And y'all ain't getting nothing because y'all ain't got y'all shit together. Just like that. So Bloom, I'm like, okay, she ain't about to give us no live. She about to give us some game, but now she about to shoot the real to us. She said, the type of power I have, if your shit was right, and you go to a bank and you need $100 million and they turn you down, you leave out that bank, you call me, go back in 10 minutes later, they'll have you $100 million. Letting us know that the money is there, but we got to get our shit together. So she's saying what she can say without saying what she can say. But I got it. But I didn't know. But I got it. You know what I'm saying? She's telling us that the money's there. It's out there. It's for us. We could get it. We just got to have our shit together. Now, I know they ain't talking about no low-level stuff. We talking about government. We ain't talking about no corner stores and all that. We talking about major funding. Because that's what she said they're going to get. All this because of, let me fast forward. Couple of a year before I left and came to Vegas, because it was time for me to come to Vegas, I ran into a gentleman named Paul Johnson, who is the CEO, co-CEO of Waze Foundation, you know what I'm saying, also founding member of the Black Unicorn Factory. And my partner at the cigar lounge, Aaron, he been trying to get me to meet Paul, but I would never go meet him. So some kind of way he tricked me down there, got me to go down there and meet Paul. We go down there, go watch Paul's facility. I like what they're doing, you know what I'm saying? The brother clean, he's sharp, you know what I'm saying? And you can tell he a G too, you know what I'm saying? But corporate and polished, I said, not corporate, polished. um, and so we sit down like, all right, cool, what. Say that. Let's go sit down and talk in my office. So we go in the office and he starts talking about the Jobs Act. And the things that he's telling me about it, the points that he's making, guess what is aligning? Guess whose conversation is aligning with? Maxine Waters. It filled me, Fofo, and Paul will tell you to this day, I jumped up in the middle of the meeting. That's it! And took off. And said, man, I see you tomorrow. And me and Paul Johnson worked together for a year straight every day. I seen what she was talking about. This is how we get our shit together. The regulations are already there. So a year and a half into working and building the Black Unicorn Factory and the companies that I have under the Black Unicorn Factory, it was time to move. Don't ask me why. I just follow the spirit. It's time to go. Never know where you're gonna go. And I ain't gonna even allow you to call, say what you want. But every place that I went, I didn't plan to go there. There was no plan. Follow the spirit. It's time to go again. Where? Vegas. My wife will tell you. Before I even came back to have that conversation, after I had the conversation, she'll tell you that was one of the places I said I'd never move. So when I walked in and told her, hey, babe, yeah, we're moving to Vegas. Huh? Why? Blah, 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 blah. Stay here. Got here 2021. Same thing. Find a way to learn the streets of Vegas without getting caught up in the foo-foo of Vegas. So I made myself known in the streets. I learned the streets of Vegas for about 2 years. Get a phone call, the cigar lounge that wanted me to help general manage and build it. I walked in the place. It was beautiful. It was everything that I needed it to be to continue the mission that I started in LA. It's the same thing. But I also know the type of people that I wanted to attract, and now I can do it from scratch. Don't have to revamp anything, and it's already ready-made. That pitch that I was talking about. I knew it was $1 million stadium because I knew that the person that I needed to get this part of where we at right now needed somewhere to land. And that was the place. That's where I built the culture. That's where the aesthetics at. That's where the people were. That's where the location was great. But the greatest thing about it was it attracted my partner.
But can I talk to you?